and welcome to the Week 7 edition of the Football Preview Show here on GameTimePA-TV. I'm John Buffone, and throughout this episode we'll be checking in with all of our Game Time PA reporters to break down the most interesting matchups in their area. Let's start right here in Lancaster, where the premier matchup of the week is LampeterStrasburg at Manheim Central. Both of these teams have aspirations of a Section 2 title, and a win on Friday would go a long way in keeping those hopes alive. Manheim Central sports one of the most explosive tailbacks in the league with senior Damon Camacho, who rushed for over 150 yards last week against Lancaster Catholic. Meanwhile, the LS defense is improving as the weeks go by, and they sport one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in Colin Bear-Shank, who has already passed for over 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns in 2015. Much like the Section 2 race, this game could come down to the wire. Now let's see what's going on in the rest of South Central PA.
I'm Zach Miller from the Evening Sun in Hanover, and our game of the week is Dallastown at Southwestern. Forget game of the week for these teams. This might be the game of the year. First place is on the line in Division 1 as both teams come in 3-0. Dallastown is completely undefeated this season, kept that going last week with a 15-12 win against Northeastern, in which they scored 15 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Southwestern, meanwhile, won 2 games last week, first against Central York on Monday, because that game was rained out the previous week, and then against Red Lion last Friday. Southwestern only has 1 loss this season. That's to District 3 powerhouse Cedar Cliff. So again, first place is on the line. The winner of this game takes sole possession and is in the driver's seat to win the league. We'll see what happens.
Hey guys, this is Brandon Stoneberg with the York Daily Record. Our game of the week in the York area is definitely York Suburban at West York. Anytime you take 2 rivals and put some division title implications involved, it definitely gets serious, and that's what we have this week. The big question will be if West York can slow down Thomas Merkel and that York Suburban offense. The Trojans have been on fire lately, and Thomas Merkel passed the school's all-time passing record this past week. They like to air it out. West York's coming off that loss in Philadelphia. They traveled 100 miles and lost 37-29 at Delaware Valley Charter. Both teams still undefeated in the division, though, so a winner puts somebody in the driver's seat and lets them control their own destiny. We'll see who it is Friday night. I'll be there. Follow me on Twitter at @B_Stoneberg, and I'll give you all the updates. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Arbigas with Game Time PA Franklin-Fulton, and I'm here to preview the East Pennsboro at Waynesboro football game. Now, East Pennsboro has emerged as one of the top teams in the Mid-Penn Colonial. You know, they had a share of the Colonial with Waynesboro last year, but East Pennsboro has yet to lose in the division, whereas Waynesboro has been struggling a little bit. They put up a nice fight against Shippensburg, but just a couple of small mistakes, some big penalties, some incomplete passes here and there really cost the Indians last week. They're really going to need to clean things up this week if they hope to get a win against the Panthers and get back on track for yet another division title. Thanks very much.
Out here in Lebanon getting ready for Week 7 high school football action. Andrew Callahan alongside Pat Huggins, and we kick off with Elko at Northern Lebanon, a pair of undefeated teams in Section 3. I think it's going to come down to trench play. Either team that can run the ball more effectively, they're going to be top of the section. Who do you see coming out on top?
It's going to be a good one. I think I kind of like Elko right now, the way they've been playing. They have a good run pass balance with Tyler Horst and Jeff Martin starting to click with Andrew Olson. So it should be a real good game. I think it could be close and down to the wire.
And another matchup of unbeatens out in the Med-Penn Conference where Palmyra is going to play host to Camp Hill. Pat, you're going to be out there on Friday night, both teams 6-0. What's going to be the determining factor for who comes out 7-0?
I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. Palmyra playing great defense right now. Just shut out Boiling Springs last week and held their running back Brian Malone to 28 yards. They're getting it done with defense right now, and I think that's what you're looking at on Friday night.
Should be an exciting week out here in Lebanon County. We'll send it back to John in Lancaster.
Well, that about wraps up this edition of Game Time PA-TV. Thank you for tuning in. For updates on all your favorite games, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And as always, enjoy the games this weekend.
And Jack for the keeper takes it in. For a LampeterStrasburg touchdown.